Okay, it appears that I am live. And so today I'm using the air conditioning, which I didn't realize until I went live that I'm using air conditioning. Let's see, oh, there we are. And let's turn off the volume. Okay, I got a new setup because, oh boy. First problem is that I'm vertical instead of horizontal. So, if I turn this, will I be horizontal that way? Sure, but now it's upside down. No, that's not horizontal. Oh, well, at least nobody's watching yet. Okay. Well, phooey. Okay. I'll see if I can make this work. So if I go like this. Okay. Let's see if I can turn this one more time and make it do what I want it to do. And if I go like... Okay, did I finish saying why I've got a new camera set up? Don't want it that way. How about that way? Okay, close enough for now. This will work for a quick video, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do next. So the reason why I have a new camera set up right now is because there, that's the best I'm going to get right now. So 10 watching, I've never had 10 watching before. That must be wrong. That's got to be wrong. Huh, that's weird. Okay, so the reason why I have a new camera set up right now is temporary because I'm going to start using a different live streaming application. I was using Switcher Studio, but it's terribly expensive. And so I'm going to try a couple different other options. So I tried to figure it out earlier today and I wasn't able to. But welcome to my live. I'm Theresa, and today's live is going to be renamed later as M is for Monday. And M is for Monday is a collaboration that was put together by I Totally Love It, and she has a Facebook group, she has a YouTube channel, she's on Instagram, all those places. This is a live video, so I am live streaming, and the chat is open in case anybody wants to say hi and tell me where you're from. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Today's prompt, or this week, these go weekly, is Masterboards. So the first thing I thought I would do is I would pull out my envelope that I keep my large ephemera and my Masterboards in. So for the purpose of today, I only want my Masterboards. So this is part of a Masterboard, I think. Some of these are parts of Masterboard. So this is something that you can put together with Masterboards. And what I like to do is I like to do a Masterboard, something like this. Usually it's about 2 or 3 times this size. And I like to turn it over and then cut it. And it's just really fun then to see what the cuts come up with. Then this one, I did some faux stamping. How do I want to say that? Faux stamping stitch? Faux stitch stamping. That's how I wanted to say that. So these are things that you can create. I don't know why that's in there. And that's large ephemera, so I don't want any of that. But this is what you can create when you're doing a Masterboard. Now this one, I think I did turn it over to cut because I wanted to make sure that I kept that big rose sticker in there. Here's a Masterboard that is folded because I thought that it would work well as a page in a journal. So that one's folded for that reason. This one's partially cut out. This is a real thick one. So that one would probably be cut again. This would be cut again. Now the other thing is sometimes you may want to make a journal where you have, let me see if I can demonstrate that. Okay, this is just a piece of paper. And say you've got a journal and you've got blank pages like this in your journal. You could take something big like this big piece of Masterboard and you could cut it down and just glue the whole thing on the journal page. I've often thought of doing something like that. Okay, that doesn't belong in here. So these are partially cut up Masterboards. In a minute, we're going to do some Masterboards. This is just large ephemera. This is part of the Masterboard with faux stitching. Part of the Masterboard with faux stitching. This is a Masterboard, and I used glossy accents to go around the edges with this one. So then what can we glue onto our Masterboard? Well, first of all, our Masterboard starts off with a substrate. A substrate could be a digital, it could be a piece of cardstock or thick paper. It could be a piece of copy paper. This is packing paper, Amazon packing paper for this substrate. This is a book page for this substrate. Book page. This is a kind of like a book page from a journal. And this was built on, it was just collaged and then sewn together. So this Masterboard doesn't really have a substrate on it. And a substrate is just something that you build off of, basically. Okay, I think that's enough of that. This was lined notebook paper. Okay, let's get this out of the way and we'll make a Masterboard. And I do apologize for my lack of organization today. We just got finished traveling. Well, we got here yesterday, and then I finished getting my space set up this morning. Well, this would be cute for Valentine's Day, wouldn't it? If I were to do a Valentine's Day journal. Sorry, rabbit trail. Okay, so that's going to go back over here. These are going to go somewhere else. And I'm just going to start off with a piece of digital, a page of a digital. So let's see what I've got here. I could just take this. Doesn't matter that it's folded in half. And so what am I going to use on this? First of all, I want this side to be the back because this is a good writable side. So I'm going to try and remember to keep this turned so that it's easiest for you to see what I'm doing here until I get this camera setup worked out. Okay, so this is what we're going to glue onto. So what should we glue onto? You might have gotten an idea so far by looking at the other things, but two things that I have that are my go-to a lot of times for doing a masterboard. And so the masterboard is actually a substrate that has been collaged on for the most part. So these are my scraps, and I'm just going to pull my scraps out and I'm going to start gluing scraps down. That's boring. And I try to stay away from thick papers, because when this is all said and done, it will be thick. And this is so fun, and this is so relaxing. Sometimes folks might just want to use neutral colors, or they might want to not use neutral colors and just use all kinds of different colors. As always, there's no rules. Okay, I think that's enough to get started. I'm going to grab some glue pages, and I'm going to grab some glue stick. I'm going to use Crit stick today for this. I'm gonna glue off screen. Just don't really need to see that, and I'm trying to make sure that I remember to keep the important stuff on screen. So I hope everybody's doing well today. I noticed that there may be some more storms brewing back east. The weather here in Arizona is perfect as usual, which is why we gave up on Texas. The area we were in was just too humid and the weather was too unpredictable. So here it's just beautiful, and there's just something about the air. If you've never been to Yuma, Arizona, you should try it out. There's just something about the air. very therapeutic. And there's the rooster. If you watch my videos when I was in Arizona last year, you may recall hearing rooster sounds in the background when I'm trying to do a video. Very rude, Mr. Rooster. I'm trying to do a video here. Now what I'm going to do next is vintage book page. I think it's some of my Italian book page. Looks like it. And I just want to overlap a tiny bit. I'll take this opportunity to remind you that I have a collaboration coming up in March, and there'll be more information about that in the description. I'm unprepared to talk about it because I don't have a memory, so I have to have my cheat sheet to do things, to talk about things like that, and I'm unprepared. But my workspace is put together pretty good. Everything's all put out where it's supposed to be, and I'm ready to do what I do. Oh, I just got glue all over my desk organizer thingy. Yeah, so my collaboration that is coming up in March is about the different sections of a journal, of journal making. So it starts off with cover and binding, then goes to what I'm going to be conscientious about using the word folio in my videos, because one page folded in half is a folio, and when you put those folios together, like say you put 6 of them together and you bind that in, then that's a signature. And we don't use the terminology folio very often, so I'm going to focus on using that terminology more. And then after that, after selecting the different pages to make folios, and then putting them together to make signatures and sewing them in, or however you put your signatures together, however you bind your journal. Then you have your elements, which are your pockets and tucks and tags. And so then once you've got that, then you have your ephemera, which tags kind of fall more under the category of ephemera. So then we have ephemera to put together, and then ephemera gets embellished. So all of that can actually be categorized in different ways. There's really not any one certain way to categorize it. And that's kind of something else that I'm going to try and bring out in the series. And just, I mean, lots of videos have been done on this topic. I'm just going to try and put together this collaboration a little differently than what's already been done. Well, phooey. Here's a nice little piece of straw paper that can go there. So actually what I'm doing today is I'm not using any software application or anything to do this video. I'm just using the YouTube create button and went live on YouTube, and I'm using my iPhone, and that's why I've got the funky portrait instead of horizontal thing going on. Oh man, it's been a day with the different tasks, housework task type things, putting the office together, things like that. My tremors didn't like that type of activity, and that kind of thing typically makes them worse. Ooh, that almost fits, but not all the way. So, let's see. Let's just put a little tiny bit of this underneath there. Yeah, so the tremors have been bothering me, and they actually have kind of been hurting. So that's probably not the tremors, it's probably like arthritis or something. And so I've been having troubles with my neck and my back, and I just need somebody to shoot me and put me out of my misery, please. I'm gonna look for a chiropractor in Yuma, Arizona, see if I can find a decent one, hopefully. Oh, goodness. I don't think I've done a live since my grandbaby was born. So that's my big news. I should have led with that, shouldn't I have? Lucky my daughter doesn't watch my YouTubes. She'd have my head for not leading with that information. So gorgeous and beautiful. Kennelee Lake Marie was born. I think it was 3 days ago. And she had a couple challenges coming into the world, but she's doing well, and Mama's nursing her, so the child came out half grown anyways. She was actually not as big as my kids, but she's big for one of my kids to have a kid. And but anyways, she was 8 pounds 8.3 ounces, something like that. But she had some challenges. My daughter noticed that her movements had slowed down, so she talked to her doctor about that, and her doctor said, yeah, you better come in and let's check you out, kind of thing. And so she did, and found out that the baby was in distress. So she was already a planned C-section. So they headed on over to the hospital and did their thing. And excuse me. So of course she needed oxygen, and she also needed added sugar. I don't know that I'm saying that right, but her sugar levels were low. So she has a line that's feeding her sugar right now, and some pictures I see the oxygen on, and some pictures I don't. So she at times is able to breathe, you know, I wanted to say air oxygen. She doesn't need assistance. But then they'll go ahead and put it on because they feel like she's struggling. So yeah, the sugar, the oxygen, I keep looking at her picture. I think that's it. She did well with the jaundice thing. Perked right up with that. Her weight is wonderful. Like I said, her mommy's was pumping before she could actually nurse her, and now she's able to nurse her. Her latch response is doing pretty darn good. She was a little bit lazy of an eater, but the kid's been through it, so we'll give her a break on that. All right, there's our master board. So basically it's a collage, and you can do it with different pieces like this, or you know, you could even use your old glue pages as a substrate. And so I also have a container that is strips of scraps. So you could take that, and you could take your glue stick, or you could take, let me think what I got handy here. You could take Mod Podge. Let's take Mod Podge for this one. This gets a little bit more messy. So I'm going to put that underneath there. See if I can find my... It was hiding from me. I used one of these. I love these things. Okay, so I'm going to lay down some Mod Podge. And then, let's see, let's go a little further down. And lay our scrap down. And then You don't have to do this, but then I like to go over it with this. Some people don't like to use Mod Podge or to do this because it makes things shiny. Let's not do that. Well, let's do it, but let's get Mod Podge on here. Trying to keep neat, but that's not going well. Now you could also layer those strips the other way. This is a gel print, scrap from a gel print. Everything on the top here is cardstock. This is a piece of vintage ledger. And I think we need one more piece of something. Oops, there's a little blank right there. Here's a cute little piece for right there. Okay, so I'll let this dry, and then I'll trim it up a bit. Get rid of this mess. So this little container is for my my scrappy strips, and so my rule is that I can't let these types of scraps go over my container. At that point, I need to start throwing things away. And then my other rule is that this is my scrap basket, and I can't have more scraps than what would fit in here. If that gets to be the case, then I need to start throwing scraps away. I do have some bits and bobs, and these can also be used for making masterboards, because I can also collage with this. This would more be like taking a masterboard before you cut it up and taking some of these items, like here's some vellum, and maybe just putting that vellum, positioning the vellum in a place that I thought looked interesting. Maybe I would rip some of the unstained vellum off. Or just do this because I wanted ripped edges. And then see if I can position that some way that I thought looked interesting. Like there. And then put that onto the master board. And that would add more dimension to it. It would add more texture. It would just be a little bit more oomph. So this sort of thing can be done with all kinds of textures, textiles, whatever. So like we might use tea bag. So take a piece of tea bag and position that in a place that would make it look interesting. That's kind of cool. Now I didn't get glue everywhere that I wanted to be, but I'll fix that in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Now what I'm going to do is take my Fairly Art glue and I'm going to finish the gluing that way. Oh no, I just dumped my needle on the floor. Ooh, that reminds me though. I've got my handy dandy. Where is it? Metal picker-upper magnet that my husband got me. So the hard part is identifying where that pesky little needle went to. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. I don't see it. Okay, and then what a person can do, I've never done this before. I like that kind of double layering of collaging. Let me see if I can actually find one more thing, because I do like that. I think that's pretty neat. But I want to clean this up before I go any further, before that dries on there. Okay, and that was Mod Podge. I used this one. It's a water-based glue, sealer, and finish. Okay, there's that. I can't put my needle in my glue right now because I dumped it on the floor. And now I'm looking for just another see-through layer of something. This kind of looks, no, this is not transparent. But you know, even doing something like that actually is kind of cool. Let's do that. Could do something like that. Now I'm starting to worry that there's no audio because no one has said hi. And usually I get at least one hi. So let me look real quick. Let's see if the sound is working. Yep, it appears to be. Yep. Okay. That just kind of scared me for a minute. I'm okay if no one feels like talking, but I'm not okay if I'm doing a crummy video with no sound. That makes me sad. Speaking of sad, oh my gosh, what is with all the world events going on right now? A couple of plane crashes, one after the other pretty much. And then, of course, the helicopter went down, you know, along with the plane. And today I saw a headline about J.D. Vance going and visiting, was it Pennsylvania? I can't remember, where there was a train derailment. I personally was in the area of a train derailment last year. We were, I think we were leaving Arizona, and we were going through, I think we were going through New Mexico. Not positive. And man, we were stuck on the freeway for a long time, the interstate. We were stuck on the interstate. That was a bummer for us, but I'm sure it was much more of a bummer for anyone who had to put up with that. I don't recall anybody getting hurt as a result of that, which is good. But a lot of damage. I do enjoy my bits and bobs pouch. I have a lot of fun creating with those bits and bobs. Okay, I'm happy with how that is now. Now, the next thing I can do, actually I don't like that sticking up, is I can get my sewing machine out and I can do what I've learned is called Frankensteining the masterboard. So that is kind of like stitching around the collage pieces, to kind of like stitching them together even though they're already glued on. So let me show you how that works. Let's see, how long have I been here? Doesn't tell me as easily as with my other, where, I don't know, doesn't tell me. I think I will go ahead and leave it like that. It is a lot of fun to sew. I also have rubber stamps that have stitches, and I can do faux stitches on my masterboards as I showed you in some of the other pieces. But please, if you've got any questions, feel free to post those in the comments and let me know what you think, whether you have a question or not. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But before I go, please remember to hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's very helpful to me for my YouTube channel. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd be honored if you wanted to subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Goodbye. Let's see if I can turn this off without an act of Congress, which we know how slow Congress is moving nowadays. Let's see. This is not going to be graceful.